Quick question. What comes to mind when you hear the phrase, jumping the shark? Is it this?
Oh my God!
Maybe even this. Alright, I'll try and keep the stupid sight gag quota to a minimum. Let's just jump through history real quick. Back in the heyday of TV circa the 1970s, when the world was fascinated with sex, drugs, rock and roll, and Ralph Bakshi films, there was a little show called Happy Days. A show that basked in its old-timey 50s values and morals, and harkened to a simpler time in history when shit wasn't so crazy, and the government wasn't giving dolphins acid and keeping 11 locked up. With that said, the show inevitably became a ratings juggernaut and shot its stars into stardom, with Ron Howard catapulting into the director's chair, where he made a bunch of movies, some great, some... And then he replaced the clone High Boys as the director of the new Han Solo film. And there was also the Fonz, who, no contest, had a pretty dope career of his own.
There is no shame in dying for nothing. That's why most people die.
Anyway, tangents aside, Happy Days was a hit show that started to dwindle in popularity as time went by and the love and admiration for 50s culture faded out of the 30-year nostalgia cycle. To course correct this, Happy Days did something that forever changed the television landscape as we knew it. They took their most popular character, and they put him on water skis, and said he was gonna jump a shark. This was unheard of. A sitcom, shark jumping, leather jacket-clad shark jump. What? What? Fucking, I'm fucking. Of course everybody tuned in because of how insanely ridiculous this sounded. The show just started throwing whatever the hell it wanted on screen, and while that works sometimes for some shows, when it doesn't, people refer to the notion as jumping the shark. Now, how does that pertain to TV today? Well, tons of shows suffer from the unfortunate tradition of jumping the shark. So today, I'm gonna go over some telltale signs that a show you're into might be about to fonz the bed. With that said, let's begin.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
You know, Baywatch sure is a fun time, what with everyone running around in slow-mo on a sunny day at the beach. You know, maybe you should take place at night, where the detective shit is played up way more. That's what everybody wanted, right?
No!
Oh hey, Regular Show sure is a great introspective bro show where ordinary regular scenarios get ass-blasted by ridiculous circumstances. Why don't we just go ahead and throw them into space, where everything is ridiculous because it's space? I still loved the show, though. The ending was great. Guys, if a show is set in a particular place, and you spend season after season getting everyone used to that and they respond well to it, you don't have to move them to Saskatchewan to get the ratings up. Just stay there. Stay. Good show. Wow, what a great cast. I really do love them. All the characters just bounce off each other perfectly, and it just works. I don't know how else to explain it. Man. Wait a minute, who's this guy? I don't remember him being that big of a deal. Okay, I guess they're here to stay then. Wait, where did those other people that I like go? They're gone? And I'm stuck with this? Adding in new characters is always tough from a writing perspective, especially when they're replacing people considered to be audience favorites, or just characters integral to the show's dynamic. What makes it worse is when we as an audience know why someone is leaving the show. Like when Topher Grace left That 70s Show to go be Venom, or when Donald Glover left Community to become the hero of multimedia platforms. It suddenly becomes twice as hard to fill that void they left behind because we know the character isn't just going to Africa or jumping on a boat with LeVar Burton. They're out there trying to make that money and chase their dreams, and we as fans gotta deal with the aftermath. Like, Scrappy-Doo. Sometimes shows would just keep adding characters without really getting rid of anyone significant, instead opting to sideline characters that used to get a lot of screen time in favor of introducing new people. Fairly Odd Parents and Lost did it like a bunch of times. Each more infuriating than the last. Before we discuss Flanderization, which in itself is already grounds for a longer video of its own, let's go ahead and cherry pick a show as an example. How about you? Friends had its archetypes figured out pretty early on. You had the all-American ditz, the weird spiritual one, the dumb ladies' man, comedic relief, the sad wimp, and the center of gravity. As the years went on, they gave these characters actual development. We followed their lives and watched them grow further and further from what the base traits they had started with were, which at first was good. Until it wasn't. Hey, we should have Joey become the heart of the group, the friend who would do anything for his friends. Except when he goes full simple Jack and can't understand basic French phrases, yeah, for comedy. Or how about Monica? Once a smart, kind, and outgoing friend who had her share of a few bad dates and bad relationships and a tendency to be obsessed with cleaning. Oh, why don't we just make her insanely obsessed with cleaning and have her be the most selfish piece of shit? Why? 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 Why they do this to you, Monica? Why? They didn't even know what to do with Phoebe. When shows introduce overarching plots and character development across seasons, Flanderization becomes way too noticeable and hard to get over from an audience perspective. But sometimes Flanderizing can actually help a show last longer by devolving their characters with the express purpose of making them funnier. Perfect example of this is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The main 5 characters in It's Always Sunny are horrible, horrible people. Somehow they each get worse and worse as the seasons pass, with one character becoming one of the most hilariously despicable people on television. Going from this...
Why, you guys? Why were we not carding? Not my job, dude. Not your... It's all of our jobs. Dude, we could get into a lot of trouble for this.
To this.
But you don't really know what hot is, do you? Hot's a storm. You ever been in a storm, Wally? I mean, a real storm? Not a thunderstorm, but a storm of fists raining down on your head. Blasting you in the face. Pummeling you in the stomach. Hitting you in the chest. So hard you think your heart's gonna stop. You ever been in a storm like that, Wally?
Case in point. Flanderization. Good sometimes, bad sometimes. If it comes at the cost of what makes your character tick, I'm not having it.
It sucks. You're gonna love it.
Remember when Brian, the dog on Family Guy, died and came back to life like Jesus? I try not to. Or when they killed Pierce off because
NBC
was already tired of Chevy, so they got rid of him. Or when they killed Dr. Drake Ramore and then took Susan Sarandon's brain and threw it into his body years later? Yeah, unnecessary death sucks. Let me close on one that everyone should be able to recognize the second it happens. Gimmicks. I bet you're wondering what falls under that category. Well, this is when desperation hits peak levels and we get smacked in the face with clip shows, a bomb in the hospital, celebrity stunt casting, guest animated episodes, nonsensical crossovers, literal shark jumping. In all fairness, sometimes a gimmick can be pulled off, but when they're lazily executed and clearly just a means to please studio executives, forget about it. After everything's said and done, the real question of the day is, does jumping the shark spell the end for a TV series? In all honesty, I have to say, no, it doesn't. Shows are the product of creative minds coming together to bring a vision to the screen, which in itself is a triumph whether the show is considered good or bad. That phrase, how does that phrase go? It takes a village? really fits within the TV world's pantheon. A lot of the time, some of your least favorite episodes or moments from TV can place blame on the creatives behind it, but studio interference does play a part in it too, and harping on the people just trying to entertain the masses isn't worth the trouble half the time.
Why'd you add Chloe? I can't believe you did that. Well, I added most of these characters because the network asked me to. And so to keep your job and to keep the show going, that's what happens. And by the way, all of you out there that are in entertainment, if that ever happens to you, you'll learn that you have to do those kind of things. And so I know the purists out there, I completely appreciate it. If I was making movies where it was one story once in a while, totally get it.
You know, I love The Simpsons, but if they make an episode that has Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift in it, and people are saying it's gonna be trash, and The Simpsons crew is trash for making it, they're ignoring a big part of why TV is so amazing. We can choose to watch something else. Different strokes for different votes. You can't entirely place blame on the people behind the show for bad episodes. A bad TV show or a bad TV show episode is 50% the show's fault and 50% the audience's fault for giving in and watching it. For example, The Simpsons will always have its ups and downs just like any other show would. And has it jumped the shark over the years? Oh, hell yes. But it's still going strong. Every now and then they'll throw us a curveball and make something great, which is what all creatives should aspire to do. Just keep at your game until people recognize the effort and appreciate the output, no matter how long it takes. And if they don't, or if it's no longer creatively fulfilling, then I guess it's safe to say it's time to move on. If you made something worthwhile, your fans will follow. Shows will continue to jump the shark so long as there's an audience for it. But just know that every time they do, you have the choice to either look away or watch the Fonz possibly die a shark-related death. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, click that like button or subscribe for more, because I'm probably going to make some more. And by probably, I mean yes, I'm going to make more. If you liked any of the music, be sure to check out all of the artists behind them. All of the links and such will be in the description below. You can always tweet at me at Macintosh on PC if you have an idea for a video or if you have any comments or criticism on this one. I was Macintosh on PC, and here's to jumping the shark in episode 33 or something.
The Fonz comes through in the clutch. All right.